It is Tuesday, the
Tuesday.
10th of December 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The House of Representatives passed one bill designed to give Tobago greater autonomy, but failed to pass the second bill yesterday, December 9th. The latter required a 3/4 majority for passage, meaning it needed 31 MPs to vote for it. The government bill passed with a vote of 20 to 10, but the Constitution Amendment to the Self-Government Bill failed to pass after it was rejected by opposition members of Parliament. Angry over the failed outcome of the Tobago Autonomy Bills, Chief Secretary Fadi Augustine yesterday described the Prime Minister as a house slave as he accused him of ignoring the needs of the Tobago people. Augustine made the comments after the Tobago Self-Government Bill failed to pass in Parliament. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley did not announce an election date as anticipated by the opposition, but he did reveal there will be CARICOM observers to monitor the election whenever it's called. Yesterday, the lower house debated the Elections and Boundaries Commission EBC 2024 report into its review of the constituency boundaries. In the lead up to the debate, the opposition speculated that following the acceptance of the report, the election date would be called. When the leader of the opposition, Carol Pasabi-Sessa, spoke during the debate, she cheekily asked the Prime Minister, will you dissolve today or in August 2025? Pasabi-Sessa also revealed she had written to the Prime Minister in September requesting an independent observer team when the country returns to the polls. However, she said she was yet to receive a response from Dr. Rowley. But the Prime Minister responded to her in Parliamentary Chamber saying to comfort her on the way home, because I know at this hour she's not normally up at this moment. I'm waiting. I've already given the instruction. The draft is prepared. Any minute now, it will come in front of me. I've already indicated to the Secretariat of CARICOM that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is asking CARICOM to send a delegation whenever the election takes place in Trinidad and Tobago. It's due to come to me anytime now, the Prime Minister said. The Parliament yesterday also accepted without amendments the Elections and Boundaries Commission 2024 report on the boundaries under which the next general elections will be held, although the Prime Minister took issue with the time and some of the name changes suggested by the EBC. The Prime Minister also indicated that Daba de Omero was renamed Malabar Mausika, and that's because of the nature of the geography and the communities. He said the same principle was not used with the removal of Pointe-a-Pierre. The constituencies whose name would change were Aruka Maloney to be named Trincity Maloney, Daba de Omero to Malabar Mausika, Lopino Bonnier West to Aruka Lopino, St. Joseph to Arangwe St. Joseph, Pointe-a-Pierre to Claxton Bay. The Prime Minister also questioned the ABC's categorization of people who had moved but were still voting in their old polling stations as ancestral voting. And leader of the opposition, Carol Pasabi-Sessa, has challenged the recommendations of the draft Elections and Boundaries Order 2024. Speaking in Parliament yesterday, she asked the Prime Minister why the changes of the boundaries of 16 constituencies resulted in increased numbers in PNM areas. She asked, quote, when you're shifting the package of polling stations, PDs, from one seat to the next, why is it always in a particular direction? You mentioned San Fernando East and San Fernando West, but right on the border of the East and West San Fernando is Oropouche East and Oropouche West. The opposition leader added, why is it? And again, the ABC gives us no reasons whenever we take from Oropouche East or West and put it in San Fernando West. We always take it from San Fernando East. Why is that, she asked. She then suggested, we know why, because it's a PNM waterbed. The package comes from a strong PNM seat into a marginal PNM seat, she chided. In his reply, Dr. Rowley said the boundaries were deemed or determined geographically, beginning in Chakachakari in the north and proceeding southward. Finally, President-elect Donald Trump says he will look at pardons for those involved in the 2021 U.S. Capitol riot on his first day back in office next month. He said these people are living in hell, he told NBC, Meet the Press, in his first broadcast network interview since winning the November election. The Republicans also vowed to end automatic citizenship for anyone born in the country, but offered to work with Democrats to help some undocumented immigrants who were brought in to the U.S. as children. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Tuesday morning, neighbors. It is the 10th day of December. Yep, somebody say already? Yep, it is the 10th day, meaning there's 15 days to Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. It is 7 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. Of course, on the show this morning, you just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell. No, Wendell is off. Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Ruben and Shane in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. 24 degrees at Piarco, 26 at Crown Point. And let's see if the Met Office updated their weather forecast. They didn't do it a while ago, and they still have not done it. So as soon as I get at you, you will get it. Traffic-wise, we have nothing to tell you about. Nothing. Nada. All right. Good morning to you, Paul. What's happening?
Morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, buddy.
What's
going on?
News starts, I go into a sneezing fit sometimes.
I realize that is
what happens. When the news starts, I go into a sneezing fit. I don't understand it at all.
I realize, in the news, blah, 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 and then nothing. And I'm saying, board is okay. Sneezing fit. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So morning to you. Let me start off with wishing two of my very, very good friends, very, very good friends, Carla and Patrick Ferreira, happy 30th wedding anniversary. Of course, Patos is the chairman of NIB. So good morning to you, Patrick and Carla, happy 30th anniversary. And let me say happy birthday going to my good friend I've known for donkey years, Steve Singh, and my other friend I've known for hee-haw years, Nishi Dole Singh. All right, the daughter of Hubert Dole Singh, who was laid to rest last week. Happy birthday to you both. Yeah. All right. Okay, just checking my stuff here. Okay. Yeah, I'm all set. Good morning to Vincent in the UK, Dan Raj, Captain Ron locked on in Orlando, GNC Auto Security, David Nelson. Good morning to you guys, all on WhatsApp. Yeah, so what's going on? Let me hear about the house.
Quite a fiery day in the house yesterday.
Yeah, let's hear about it. I have no idea.
They went at each other, as is quite customary sometimes.
Always.
They were debating two Tobago autonomy bills and the Elections and Boundaries 2024 report. One bill passed because it required a simple majority. So it passed 2010 with, of course, support given by the government. But the other bill required a 3/5 majority. Or is it a 3/4? I've never heard of a 3/4. 3/5 majority, which meant it needed 31 MPs and some opposition support to pass. I know the government was expecting the so-called 5 dissidents to vote in their favor. But even that would not have given them the required 31 votes. And the opposition had stated quite early that they were not in favor of some of the clauses in the bill, in addition to the fact that there was a suggestion put forward by Saddam Hussein and MP Saddam Hussein and the leader of the opposition that Tobago wanted to be consulted, so much so that apparently some WhatsApp message from the chief secretary made it on the prime minister's phone and into Saddam Hussein's phone. I'd never hear about debate by WhatsApp yet, but anything's possible. So the prime minister responded by saying that to expect consideration of a WhatsApp intervention from the chief secretary during the debate was preposterous. Of course, when the bill failed, the chief secretary posted. Let me read the post for you. He took to Facebook saying, quote, "Nothing is worse than when your relative who sits in the seat of power is nothing but a house slave who ignores the real dreams and aspirations of those he left behind in the field in Tobago," end quote. It's going to be one bitter election, let me tell you.
Yeah, I've seen that already.
It's going to be one bitter election. If all you think, or you see bitter elections before.
I think this would be it.
Camille Robinson Regis was going at Saddam Hussein, who was going back at her. The prime minister was going at the leader of the opposition. He said, let me tell you what he said. Because I guess for some reason they were expecting the election date to be called. I don't know why. I didn't think the election
I didn't think that was going to happen.
I didn't think so either. So Mrs. Prasad Bissessa, when she was speaking during the debate, asked the prime minister, "Will you dissolve today or in August of 2025? Referring, of course, to the election date when Parliament is going to be dissolved. The prime minister responded to her by saying, quote, "To comfort her on her way home, because I know at this hour she's not normally up.
Jesus.
At the moment I'm waiting. I've already given the instruction. The draft is prepared. Any minute now, it can come in front of me. I've already indicated to the Secretariat of CARICOM that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is asking CARICOM to send a delegation whenever the election takes place in Trinidad and Tobago. It's due to come to me anytime now," end quote. I think it was on fire yesterday. And they ended quite early, they started at 10 and they ended at like before 4 o'clock.
What?
And of course, the Parliament accepted also yesterday without amendments, as expected, because it was a simple majority, which the government has. The Elections and Boundaries Commission 2024 report, which changed names. And even the Prime Minister said he seemed to disagree with some of the name changes because he didn't understand the name changes. Dabadi Omera was renamed Malabar Mausika because of the nature of the geography and the communities. He said one would have difficulty identifying exactly where this constituency has its boundaries. He said complaints about the removal of Omera from the people of Omera, Dabadi, a long-standing community, was also being replaced in the arrangement. He said there were no boundary changes in St. Joseph, but the EBC saw it fit to change the name to Arangwes St. Joseph because it accepted that Arangwes was a distinctive community and should be part of the name. It's not in this article, but he also said during the debate that because Arangwes contributes is either 20 or 21% to the vote in St. Joseph, which is significant. That is 1/5 of the vote in that constituency.
Yeah.
The name was warranted to be identifying the community, which makes sense. So the communities, but he said the same principle was not removed because there's no Pointe-a-Pierre now. There's a Claxton Bay constituency, which I guess includes Pointe-a-Pierre, which is a very strange move. And you see, as Richard and I said yesterday, very often these entities just do things and we, the public, are not give them the grace of a full explanation. Now, the explanation may be in some document somewhere, but when you're making significant changes like this, tell the people why. I mean, I guess they may think, well, we can't talk until it goes to Parliament and it's passed. But certainly now that it's passed, the order has been approved in Parliament. Come and tell the people why. It's almost like, well, you have to take that. We have the power to do it, and they do, and we will do it. And we have to explain nothing, which is not the way a transparent society operates. So the name changes are, which have been approved yesterday, which you will see now when people are talking about elections. Aruka Maloney is now Trin City Maloney, because Trin City is a big area. Dabadi O'Mara is now Malabar Mausika. So they take her Dabadi from the name. Lopino Bonnier West is now Aruka Lopino. St. Joseph is now Arang West St. Joseph. And Pointe-a-Pierre is no more. And the constituency is now to be called the Claxton Bay.
But the boundaries have not changed.
As fast as
it's just the name itself.
No, the names have changed.
Yeah.
Well,
but the boundaries have not.
Has asserted that when there seem to be some in the recommendations, the changes to the boundaries of 16 constituencies changed. So in addition to the name changes, the boundaries in 16 constituencies changes, which means some of the voters in polling districts, PDs, polling divisions, in those electoral districts will now be really voted in another constituency. So Mrs. Prasad Bissessa asked, quote, when you're shifting the package of polling divisions from one seat to the next, why is it always in a particular direction? She said, you mentioned San Fernando East and San Fernando West, which are now held by Brian Manning and Faris Alwari, respectively. But right on the border of East and West San Fernando is Oropouche East and West. So she added, why is it? Again, the EBC gives us no reasons when we never take from Oropouche East or West and put it in San Fernando West. And we also take from San Fernando East. Why? Because she says, in her opinion, it's a PNM waterbed. And in other words, she's suggesting you're moving seats, some PNM strong seats, into areas where the PNM is not that strong. That's a suggestion. Dr. Raleigh's response was, boundaries were determined geographically, beginning with Shaka Shakari in the north, and then moving to Diego Martin West and into the rest of the country. And I think there's a minimum number of seats each, based on the overall electorate, each seat must have. Yes, and Daniel Knights, you're right. The Prime Minister did also fire a shot across the island, saying that the leader of the opposition keeps calling for election dates. But your call for election dates, and this is Rowley's, Dr. Rowley I'm imitating now. You call for election dates 9 times, and you lost all 9 times, as if you have some sort of fetish for licks. I'll take a sip with that one. I tell you. And of course, Camille Robinson Regis and Saddam Hussein were going at it, and she was saying, but you're supposed to be a lawyer. Read this thing before you come here. And he said, well, at least I practice law, do you? Of course, they're both attorneys at law.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
And Steve was suggesting I should go into the lower house. No, thank you, sir. I'm not built for that kind of rigor. My mouth too hot. I'll get in trouble every day.
That, you know.
I'll get in trouble every day. Every day I'll get in trouble every day. No, my mouth too hot. You tell me something, I shout across the aisle something more obnoxious, which is what tends to happen. So, but I know my mouth, and my mouth don't have no cover like that. So when they're being civilized, I will not necessarily be as civilized. So the pilots are still calling for.
Yeah, what is that Carl says his operations like normal.
Yeah, The pilots cannot take industrial action. They're an essential service, but they're in negotiations for better salaries and packages. And they're asking, let good industrial relations be observed for pilots at the national carrier CAL. Now, there must be real upsetting shit, because imagine them negotiating for better salaries. And CAL launching Juveban and rum. Take a sip.
Take a sip. Hey, yo, no.
Now, understand the rum, eh? And it's like you're getting your own branded bottle of water. You're getting your own rum. You're an airline. You serve alcohol on board, right?
Mm-hmm.
So understand the rum. It's a branding thing. It's a marketing thing. It's probably some old rum Angostura had there anyway that they just put a label on.
Old rum.
With Vibes Cartel. They ain't invent no new rum for Carl, and they ain't invent no new rum for Vibes Cartel. That Angostura create real rum. Some rum do sell. They slap on a new label and say there's a new rum. Manufacturers do it all the time, okay? It's marketing. It's the same thing in the bottle that give you a headache, in my opinion. Right? With different proofs.
Gives you a headache.
Right? So they're just marketing. And interestingly enough, all the fuss about Vibes Cartel coming to Trinidad and Tobago and to perform Carnival Friday because it's Carnival and it's meeting. You hear one thing about Vibes Cartel rum, because Angostura is waiting. Trinidadians like selective outrage, yes? They love selective outrage. So you hear one thing, but why they have Vibes Cartel and not Machel Montana or Bungee Garden endorsing one of the rum? Not one thing. Selective outrage. They go into and they drink and they put up their hand and they take the interviews and they pictures with the
That's it. That's all.
Right? Never a dull moment. Yeah, said rum do get old. Well, I guess. Rum is a preservative. Morning, Zena. It is a preservative. You ever see?
It's a preservative morning, you
People
know.
drink rum. Do you always wonder them don't get sick and thing, you know? You ever see the neighborhood drunkard sick?
No.
You ever see the neighborhood drunkard get the cold?
No.
I never see the neighborhood drunkard get the cold. Drunkards get the cold yet. Them is be good. That rum is preserved, deliver, and whatever it is.
Just preserve.
Ash Nemesis says the rum is actually Vibes Cartel rum. Ash Nemesis, you know, Vibes Cartel have a brewery? Is he a brewery? Okay. So he making the rum? Okay. I stand corrected. I wait and I don't know that Vibes Cartel is making any rum. Well, he still he put the chemicals together. He's a rum chemist. Oh, you don't know marketing, no? Clearly. Anyway, it was quite the day yesterday for the children in the house. I, being facetious, of course, who were behaving quite badly yesterday and going at each other. Internationally, yeah, he owned the brand. I get it that he owned the brand. Yeah. He owned the brand because he negotiated to own the brand.
Mm-hmm.
That he mean he making the rum. Why the Cubans in Angostura? Because they make rum, they brew rum. Anyway, internationally, President-elect Donald Trump says he will look at pardons for the people involved in the 2021 U.S. Capitol riots in his first day back in office next month.
January 6th.
Surprise. January 20th. He said these people are living in hell. He said the Republicans have also vowed to end automatic citizenship for anyone born in the country, but will work with the Democrats to help some undocumented immigrants who were brought into the U.S. as children. So people who actually born there. Okay, ask Nemesis, I'm wrong. You happy now? You're good? Made your day? I'm wrong. I was wrong. Okay, you're happy now? You're good? Made your day? The year complete? I was wrong. Vibes Cartel own the rum, the serum. So people who are born there are not citizens, may not be citizens, but if you come in as children, you'll be citizen. Is he going to take the same approach with Melania? I didn't think Melania was born there. But anyway, I forgot they applied under a special talent visa because Melania is an artist. And if you have a skill that no one else has, you can be made an American citizen if you have a skill. Steve, you have a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can do doubles like you.
Mm-mm. So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Never a dull moment with Donald Trump. Let me tell you something. It'll be an interesting 4 years to come. I hope the Republicans get their act together because they got a sound whopping.
You mean the Democrats? They said
Democrats,
Republicans.
sorry, get their act together. It's sound whopping. And they need to realize that all the left-wing television morning shows don't make no difference in elections to the American heartland and where it counts. Or like you see, another one from CNN resigned yesterday. She says it's her last day.
Who's that?
I forgot her name. She was there for 10 years. All that CNN and MSNB and MSNBC and ABC and The View
Who's that?
that delivering the rhetoric every day, you understand, didn't make one difference in the election. People ignoring them. The people who make the votes count, ignoring them. The media has almost little or no sway. Digital media like Twitter and things have more power than big networks now.
Yeah, boy. No lie.
Right? Has more sway than these huge networks with paying all these millions to these anchors every morning and every evening to regurgitate the same news every half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And conflate their own opinion with what is news to confuse people. Never a dull moment.
Never a doubt.
Anyway, shall we open the phones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, in U.S. news, the guy who murdered the CEO of United Insurance, they captured someone for questioning, leaving it like that. That's what they say.
They hold the man.
And it's not with technology. It is
from good old police.
That look like the guy. We see that guy on TV. That's the man who killed the other man.
They hold the man
911.
in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, 6 days.
Okay?
6 days. But it wasn't by technology. If you see something, say something, do something.
Because they went on the media and they had press conferences and they shared information with the public regularly, kindly, engage the public through the media, help them find the man, and they find the man. I wonder who should be taking notes.
Let's think about that. Let's think about it. Who should be taking notes, boy?
Okay.
Don't know. We have these billboards by the market, by Arangways, that has not worked for years. All that should be working and put up pictures and so on.
You sound like an old man. People have phones in their hand. Nobody watch no.
Well, I was going there next.
In a long time billboards.
You know, but a lot of people don't have phones too. So, you know.
Like who, Steve? Like who don't have phones? Who don't have phones? Tell me. Who don't have phones?
I can't remember his name, you know. I know one person who doesn't have a phone. Never had a cell phone. I did have his number. I don't have a cell phone.
I didn't even look up at that billboard. Everybody has a phone. Send the information on the phones.
Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, but put it out there. But no, it doesn't. It's just communication. I don't know. Lines are open. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. David, where's that?
You're right, David. I saw a homeless person. I don't like the word vagrant at all. It's too derogatory. With a phone on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I know
I
where
see
you
a
get
homeless
your
person with a
phone,
links machine too.
you know? Everybody has phones, but of course, this
Funny though.
iteration, the police leadership does seem to want to understand the importance of engaging the public on a regular basis. A
No.
press release every 2-3 weeks is what they seem to be engaged in, and they think that is engaging the public. You know, I did see last night on my walk though, 2 different locations of police roadblocks checking people's licenses and whatever.
Oh, really? Okay.
So commendations on that in 2 different locations last night. You know, but one of them just do the same place all the time. So I don't know what sense that make.
Arango is by tool time
Yeah, exactly. Right there, right there,
in front of the Carnage police
right
station.
there, right there, right there.
You
You
know,
understand?
and always the same place. All right, so our lines are open. Let's take some of your calls. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans 866-525-1099. For those in the US and Canada, it's a toll free number. All right, we'll take some of your calls.
So Terrence is
No,
saying
so Andre is saying,
he was
go ahead.
that the suspect in the killing of the CEO was turned over because he was found at a deli looking suspicious, unrelated to the information that was on the airwaves. Well, people were hyper vigilant because of the information on the airwaves. Okay, that's why people were hyper vigilant, because there were pictures, even with his half obscured face, flooded
Yeah.
all over the news and digital
I
media.
actually have a picture of him taking a
Can be
taxi.
unrelated.
You know?
Andre, the only time I've
No,
ever
we
got
didn't
to
try
work
Andre.
with the godly lady is during the GSCs, of which there's, anyway, I can't say that yet.
Yeah. No, we have never interviewed her. She's never done an
Now,
interview.
she don't do interviews.
Right?
She doesn't need to come before the
Yeah,
public.
I too big. I don't need to. Yeah, I'm the commissioner of police. I don't need to talk to anybody. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, pleasant morning, Mr.
Hey,
Steve
Mr.
Richard.
Good
Patrick.
morning, Mr. Patrick.
Right? Steve Khan, Border Richards, and never.
What's happening?
Oh, things going good. I was reading on the papers where the government giving out some 8,200 or something gift cards for Christmas, right? For people to go and shop, each value $500. How do you want that, boy? Who are the contract?
What ministry is sending those out, Mr. Patrick, first of all?
Donald Cox Ministry, social welfare.
And are you sure it's just to buy gifts, or is it to buy food?
Well, it's for food.
Because you said
It's
gifts.
for food. Well, food is gifts, you know.
Oh, Lord.
Food is gifts. Because at the end of the day, you work for that, so that's a gift. Nice?
Okay, I'll take that argument.
Yeah, but in the end of the day, it's only certain people might get these things who have party card or something. Or?
Are you making an accusation?
No, I just asking a question. It's only certain
You're
people
asking a question. Are only people with party cards who get food cards? I don't think so.
Because I was reading where they say they will contact certain people.
Because to my knowledge, what happens with those cases, what has happened in the past, is that in addition to those given out through the ministry itself, MPs from all constituencies are given food cards to give to their less fortunate constituents, including opposition MPs, as far as I understand. That's how it goes. So that may debunk your theory of only people with party cards getting food cards.
Because you know the thing that goes on, but this Donald Trump issue where they're talking about children born in the US from people who visit the US or illegal immigrants. That's going on a long time now. Because it has certain people leaving where they live and go to the States and make children. And some people was debating that. You understand? if you come as a visitor to the state and you make a child, you know people that do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go as a visitor in the state
Mm-hmm.
and make a child. I could remember on all your program, it's at a US, what do you call it? The US people, now,
Family affairs.
guys, and they were saying that's illegal. And they're saying that if you travel with the child, you become a flight risk. Yeah,
Yeah.
because certain countries like China and certain places we could have one baby. If you go across to America making next one. Yeah.
Okay, we gotta carry it back to China though.
But China doesn't have that policy anymore.
Anymore.
Thanks, Mr. Patrick.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, guys, and good morning to our
Good morning,
listeners.
Ricky Rich. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Farley Augustine really expected the opposition to support that bill yesterday. He can't be serious. I mean,
I don't think he expected the opposition to support. I think the opposition was telegraphing that he thought there was not enough consultation with Tobago stakeholders to take the bill to Parliament.
He didn't want the opposition to support the bill.
I said, but he can't be serious. Oh God, look, I don't know. These people never cease to amaze me. I want to say to parents, when they take the children to these Christmas parties, try and be vigilant when your children go into those bouncy castles, because it is nice what you just be seeing going down there. The people who have the parties, they have bouncy castles. They have them for different age groups, like 3 to 5, and then they'll have for the older ones. The bouncy castles are not monitored, so the bigger children goes into the ones for the 5-year-old. Good Lord. And it's wildness. When I carry my grandchildren out, I stand up, I observe, and once I see wildness in that bouncy castle, they ain't going in there at all. There was a little girl up in Arima. I remember my sister told me, went to a Christmas party, I think it was last year, and ended up in casualty in Arima, in the Arima hospital with a broken hand. So parents, please be careful. Don't send your children in bouncy castle and you go online in with your friends. Observe and monitor your children. You'll have a blessed morning.
All right. Thank you, Digger Martin. 222-8255.
Well, one would assume they would always have somebody vigilant or somebody assigned the duty of monitoring children. But, parties become parties and people become,
I thought the objective of the bouncy castle was wildness.
Well, part of it is that.
That was the objective of going inside of there.
Part of it is that.
Wildness.
But usually there's somebody...
Supervised wildness.
Yeah, even if it's from the company, to make sure you don't go with your shoes and things like that.
Yeah.
So usually there's somebody watching on, but I guess I got her point. Well, parents always have to be vigilant with your children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should be always supervised. She's absolutely right. Even though it's wildness, it's very easy to twist a foot and a hand inside of there.
Oh, it's so easy.
So
it's so easy.
I never did that. I still get motion sickness, so me ain't going in there.
They had bouncy castles in your time?
Okay. It's a good morning. Good night to Republic Bank. They had a
you should know it's your time too.
Children's Christmas
retiree
bazaar on Saturday. All right. So we are taking some of your calls.
So I'm proposing a question this morning based on, of course, the
autonomy bill.
The Facebook post by Farley Augustine is if he should apologize to the Prime Minister for calling him a house slave.
Well, I see that's one of the that is the headline on the Guardian this morning. On the Guardian this morning, and I only have the Guardian, but yeah, I mean it's a possible poll. I know that autonomy bill was one of the main items in the news last night, and the THA chief sec obviously he did not want, well, according to the news reports, let me put it that way, was in fact pleased that the bill did not pass because he felt that they, I suppose, maybe didn't go far enough, or that they wanted more consultation. And I know the Prime Minister was adamant, at least from what I saw, that there was enough consultation, because he says this has been going on for years.
Well, one of the things is that people need to understand that because one of the issues that came up yesterday and has come up even when the committee was deliberating over the bill is the issue of lawmaking power for the THA. And like in the United Kingdom, Wales and Scotland, and they can make laws once the laws don't conflict with the laws of the UK Parliament, because it's one unitary entity. And the autonomy issue for Tobago, as I understand it, does not separate Trinidad and Tobago as a republic.
Mm-hmm.
So the Parliament, so if the Parliament have to be, if the Assembly in Tobago could make laws that are in contravention to the laws that are being made in the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, how does that make sense as a unitary state? You understand? So, and that's the arrangement in the UK, and it's still very complex in the UK. But they understand that the laws that are passed in those parliaments in Scotland, Wales, etc., they are subservient to the laws that pass in the House of Commons and the House of Lords.
Right.
You understand?
So there's national law and there's
national
regional
law,
law.
and then there's like federal law in those.
Yeah.
So
but federal law, we cannot akin to national law. But you mean there may be regional laws that people
regional
may have.
laws, yeah.
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 Yeah. So there has to be some sort of hybrid system akin to that. I agree with you that there has to be some national law that
because it's still unless Tobago wants secession,
yeah,
and to be its own unitary state, it is the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So there must be some sort of central lawmaking body that governs the whole Twin Island Republic. You know, it's just like, really? I don't know, maybe my understanding of it is wrong. And then to send a WhatsApp message and think that go intervene in the proceedings. Debate by WhatsApp?
Yeah, come on. He sent a WhatsApp message to the Prime Minister.
This is what when Saddam Hussein, MP Saddam Hussein, was making his contribution, he said, well, he got a WhatsApp message and I guess some documents from Mr. Augustine talking about the issues he had, including a lack of consultation with stakeholders, which I don't understand also, because they're in committee for years, since 2020. You understand? So to say that it was new is inaccurate. And then he said, the Prime Minister also said, well, I just got something from the Chief Secretary. I think that's what he said. And asking for it to be, I don't know if it's withdrawn or whatever. And I'm saying, but the debate is in the House of Representatives. What, unless you feel you're a private citizen in that case, state or a major stakeholder, which you are, do you expect that consideration to be tabled as part of the proceedings in the House? It just don't make no sense. You know? Anyway, it's 5:44.
Yeah. And of course the language that was used, which is the subject of the headline in the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today at least, the issue of house slave and stuff like that. That does not help. You know, politics can be oppositional because, of course, you're in a democracy, and the oppositional nature of politics is part of it. But there still has to be a level of communication on a civil level in debating issues that should not degenerate into the kind of levels that it sometimes degenerates. I mean, this is not the only example of it degenerating, but
on both sides.
Huh?
On both sides.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that the generation, in terms of the communication skills of our political elite, just needs to. You just need to be vigilant. I get it that you may get angry sometimes, but you're still in a space where what you see matters because it goes out to the public, it goes out to the rest of the society, which is watching on, even though some maybe somewhat cynically, but still watching on. And if the level of communication skills is poor in terms of how you exchange and interchange, then when the society becomes less than in terms of our own communication skills, you are part of the problem. And so it's, I suppose people need to rethink before you send something, before you hit that send button. Analyze what you're saying. I get it that you can get emotional about issues, but you still have to. That's where debating skills come into play.
I mean, like think before you say. Anyone who sees the shark, let us know.
Well, that's different, eh? That's a
Maturity.
different.
It's called
That's a
maturity,
different level.
Richard. Maturity.
Huh?
It's called maturity.
Yeah.
You can't
A different
work
level.
like a petulant child, and that goes to everybody.
Yeah, communication skills, and there is a responsibility. I'm just saying, when you're part of the political elite, to lift the society in terms of in how we deal with conflict, because how we deal with conflict is a problem in the society.
But I don't know how calling somebody a house slave enriches the conversation.
No, just makes
or moves it closer to resolution. I don't know how, Anyway, you said you have the Guardian. It's the 10th of December. Let me start with the Express for today. 5 new names. Parliament yesterday accepted without amendment the Elections and Boundaries Commission 2024 report on the boundary changes, 16 boundary changes and the five name changes. Rowley accuses Saddam of playing games. Farley, the fight is not over. Kamla, election leaks for the PNM. Self-government on hold is another headline. Pilots Association cardboard of backtracking on wage deal. Chinese Association building to be demolished. That's the one on, is it Charlotte Street?
St. Anne's.
Oh, St. Anne's. That's one up there. Okay, yeah, all right. Go ahead, Richard. That's the Express. You see there?
You're muted, Richard. All right, go ahead.
Anything. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. On the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, he's a house slave. That's the Guardian's headline. Farley slams PM over failure of Tobago autonomy bills. And there is a picture of Farley Augustine. Rowley invites CARICOM observers for general elections. Cal pilots, and there's a big inset photo, of course, of the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. Cal pilots warn of disruption as pay talks break down. So that's still an ongoing issue. I thought it was kind of in the background now, like they were settling it, but apparently it's now resurfaced. So Cal pilots warn of disruption as pay talks break down. So all of that is on the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Going to the back page, Chai2 loses TTCB appeal, Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board appeal. And the main picture is that of Golden State Warriors Kevin Looney and Gary Payton II battle Minnesota Timberwolves Julius Randle to for a rebound in the second quarter of the NBA game in San Francisco, California on Sunday. That's the main photograph. So that's it for the front and the back of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian.
Let's move to the news. The government fails to get opposition support for Tobago autonomy bill. Kamala, EBC boundary changes meant to benefit the PNM. Pilots say Cal acting in bad faith after collective agreement signing stopped. The Alsing provides info on maternal deaths and legal fees. CPF, new soca contest shows disregard for culture. 2 men and woman arrested for Tabakit robbery. House passes 1 Tobago bill, but second fails. PM CARICOM election observers to be invited. 7 injured in midday crash in Point Fortin. And Tobago autonomy bill fails to pass. PNM Tobago says UNC playing games. So those are trending stories in your 3 major dailies for today, Tuesday, the 10th of December, 2024.
All right. Let's get the results of our morning poll where we asked you yesterday, should the Minister of Finance, Colin Imbert, resign over the initial mistake related to cost overruns at the Tobago Airport project? That was our poll yesterday. The results are in. 71, yes, Wendell, 71% said yes. Okay. All right, let's get into this morning's poll.
Right, so our poll this morning: should THA Chief Sec Farley Augustine apologize to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley for the house slave comment on Facebook? That's our poll this morning. Should THA Chief Secretary Farley Augustine apologize to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley for the house slave comment on Facebook? Of course, it's the subject of the headline on the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning. So what do you think? That's our poll. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and streaming platforms, you know what to do. Send your votes via the messaging portal. And of course, if you're watching us on M&E TV or listening to us on smart devices, you can WhatsApp us at 318-1021. 318-1021. Of course, if you're outside of TNT, put the 868 code before.
Well, Luigi Mancioni has now been charged with the murder of U.S. healthcare CEO. You see how fast they catch him?
Yes.
That's what engaging the public does. To whom it may concern.
All right, I have some votes already. We got some calls as well. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I say yes.
All righty. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Politicians do that to each other all the time. My answer is no. Sandy Randy.
All right, Grandy. Thank you. All right, got some votes coming up here. Wayne Bennett says yes. John Cato, yes. David Wares, of course. Trini Get Fit, yes. DL, yes. Alistair Hart, yes. Boy Bedesi, yes. Josie Richardson, yes. Wayne Joseph, yes. Cole Lit Finch says yes. Lester Craigwell, need a vote, Lester. You need to vote. Cheryl Henry, yes.
You didn't give me Lester Craigwell's vote. Huh?
He didn't vote.
Okay.
I've got Central Animal Lover, yes. Morning to you, my dear. Strong, no. Captain Ron, hell yes. Cascade St. Anne's, no. Good morning, caller.
No. No.
Thank you. All right, that's a no. Lyndon Williams, yes. Una Antoine, no. Brent Hackshaw, yes. Mika Ray, yes. Richard P. Knights, yes. Kenny out in Harlem, yes. Hazel Will, yes. Kazim Mohammed, yes. Ray Garcia, yes. Michael Robinson, no. Patricia DeFore, yes. Trevor Panton, yes. David Nelson, yes. Junior, yes. I think Vincent in the UK, yes. Key G, yes. All right. 222-8255, toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. numbers directly into our studio for our morning poll, where we asked, should THA Chief Secretary Fali Augustine apologize to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley for the house slave comment, which he posted on Facebook? Beauty culture, yes. Lester Crigwell, no. Marcia Rock, yes. Donna Clark, yes. Also vote on WhatsApp at 318-1021. Again, should THA Chief Sec Fali Augustine apologize to Dr. Rowley for the house slave comment which he posted on Facebook? Yes or no? All right. RJ, yes. All right. Did I do a Donna Clark saying yes? Okay. All right. You have 3 minutes left to vote. Slick Money Grip, yes. Call us. Tell us yes or no. We love to know where you're calling or messaging from. All right. Should Fali apologize to Dr. Rowley for his house slave comment? Yes or no? Taking your calls and your votes via WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook. You're watching us on MNE TV. You can WhatsApp. Again, 318-1021. Michael Gradison, yes. Catherine Henry says no. Checking WhatsApp here. Okay, nothing there. All right, let's go back here. Catherine Henry was the last one. All right.
So 222 talk 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099. Of course, people on the streaming platforms, send your votes there. And of course, if you're watching us on MNE TV, or listening to us on smart devices, you can WhatsApp us at 318-1021. You can put the code 868 before that if you need to. Our poll, should THA Chief Secretary Fali Augustine apologize to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley for the house slave comment on Facebook? Should he apologize? That's the subject of our poll this morning. What do you think? Steve, any more votes?
There's Antonio Butts saying yes. Oh, I got 2 WhatsApp just popped in. Up north says no. Reggie from Long Island says no.
So we're still taking your votes as we had about a minute away from this, well, 2 minutes away from the 7 a.m. news. So our poll, you can still continue to vote on our poll. Right. So 222 talk 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099, and of course people on the streaming and.
You should really get that chair.
What?
I mean, where I got it.
You import it or you buy it here?
No, in Trinidad.
Okay.
I can't remember where exactly.
Fans.
No.
I'm Aquin now. Yeah.
Right,
Like the headrest. If people your age, I headrest is important here.
Oh, jeez.
But young people.
young retired people. Gemma Brewster says no. Arch Nemesis says yes.
52.
All right. Should
taking your votes as we have 1 minute again? Well, less than a minute.
1. Yeah. Should Chief Sec Fali Augustine apologize to Dr. Rowley for his house slave comment, which he posted on Macobook, Facebook? Cheryl Charles, yes. All right.
What do you think? That's our poll this morning. Should THA Chief Sec Farley Augustine apologize to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley for the house slave comment on Facebook?
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Gastolo said yes.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. Thank you.
Have a nice day, gentlemen.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Did you give me pull? I seen Cheryl Charles, all those votes there. Did you give that? Yep. Steve?
Let's see. I did arch nemesis. Pearl Cordes says yes. All right. All right. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. Evie is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
The House of Representatives passed one bill designed to give Tobago greater autonomy but failed to pass a second bill. Government defended handling of Tobago autonomy bill. Government to invite CARICOM delegation to observe the general elections next year. Parliament accepts without amendments the EBC's 2024 report on the boundaries under which the next general election would be held, and cow pilots call for good industrial relations to be observed during negotiations. Details in a moment. With your news in detail, I'm Avril Sintel Bob. Good morning. The House of Representatives passed one bill designed to give Tobago greater autonomy, but failed to pass a second bill on December 9th. The latter required a 3/4 majority for passage, but the government was unable to get the opposition's support for this to happen. In the House, this equates to 31 MPs. The Tobago Island Government Bill 2021 was passed by a vote of 20 to 10. The Constitutional Amendment Tobago Self-Government Bill failed to pass after it was rejected by opposition members in Parliament. The bill failed to pass as it required a 3/4 majority for passage, meaning the bill needed the support of 31 MPs. The vote on this bill was 21 to 16. Angry over the failed outcome of the Tobago autonomy bills, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine yesterday described Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley as a house slave as he accused him of ignoring the needs of Tobago's people. Augustine made these comments after the Tobago self-government bill failed in Parliament. Earlier in the day, Augustine had called for more consultation, stating that the bills do not meet the needs of Tobago and its people. In response to Augustine's WhatsApp request just minutes before the sitting to propose amendments, however, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley told the House that Augustine's attempt to stall the process was preposterous.
How did we get here, if not by a series of years of consultation? And then as I sit here this minute, on my phone, I get a WhatsApp. The laws of this country provide a mechanism for the Chief Secretary to communicate with the Office of the Prime Minister of Matters for Tobago. Nothing has come to me from the Chief Secretary in my office. But today in the Parliament, 1 minute before as we sit to deal with the committee stage of a joint select committee of years of work, this member comes here facilitating this intervention by a WhatsApp, by amendments being proposed by the Tobago House of Assembly to the Chief Secretary. Madam Speaker, this is preposterous. And I will have none of it.
After the bill's failure, Augustine took to Facebook saying, quote, "Nothing is worse than when your relative who sits in the seat of power is nothing but a house slave who ignores the real dreams and aspirations of those he left behind in the field in Tobago," end quote. Augustine hashtagged house slave mentality and wicked prime minister. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley did not announce an election date as anticipated by the opposition, but he did reveal there will be CARICOM observers to monitor the election whenever it's called. Yesterday, the lower house debated the Election and Boundaries Commission's EBC 2024 report into its review of constituency boundaries. In the lead up to the debate, the opposition had speculated that following the acceptance of the report, the election date would be called. When opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissassa spoke during the debate, she cheekily asked the Prime Minister, quote, "We will dissolve today or August 2025. End quote. Persad-Bissassa also revealed that she had written to the Prime Minister in September requesting there be independent election observers when the country returns to the polls. However, she said she was yet to receive a response from Dr. Rowley.
We are going to have CARICOM. I did receive from the member or some one of her underlings a list of all kind of Tom, Dick and Harry from Oyo and Timbuktu. I'm not inviting them yet. I don't know who they are. But I'm certainly going to have ask CARICOM, and I trust that CARICOM will find it necessary to send us a delegation to observe our election, because we have nothing to hide, Madam Speaker. Nothing to hide.
The Parliament yesterday accepted without amendments the Elections and Boundaries Commission 2024 report on the boundaries under which the next general election would be held. This, although the Prime Minister took issue with some of the name changes suggested by the EBC. He said by moving one polling division, the constituency known as Pointe-a-Pierre was changed to Claxton Bay, and he did not understand the removal of the community of Pointe-a-Pierre from the new name. He said Dabiri O'Meara was renamed Malaba Mausika, and that because of the nature of the geography and the communities, one would have difficulty identifying exactly where this constituency has its boundaries. He said he had complaints about the removal of O'Meara from the people of O'Meara. Dabiri, a long-standing community, was also being replaced in this arrangement, he added. He said while there were no boundary changes in St. Joseph, the EBC saw it fit to change the name to Arangua St. Joseph because it accepted that Aranguas was a distinctive community and should be part of the name. He said, however, the same principle was not used with the removal of Pointe-a-Pierre. The constituencies whose names were changed are Aruka Maloney to be renamed Trin City Maloney, Dabiri O'Meara to Malaba Mausika, Lopino Bonia West to Aruka Lopino, St. Joseph to Arangua St. Joseph, Pointe-a-Pierre to Claxton Bay. The Prime Minister also questioned the EBC's categorization of people who had moved but were still voting in their old polling stations as ancestral voting. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissassa has challenged the recommendations of the Draft Elections and Boundaries Commission Order 2024. Speaking in Parliament on December 9th, she asked the Prime Minister why the changes to the boundaries of 16 constituencies resulted in increased numbers in PNM areas. She then suggested, quote, and we know why, because it's a PNM waterbed. The package comes from a strong PNM seat into a marginal PNM seat, end quote. Mrs. Persad-Bissassa stated that she was not happy with the way the EBC shifts polling divisions. In his reply, Dr. Rowley said the boundaries were determined geographically, beginning with Shakashakari in the north and proceeding southward. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Let good industrial relations be observed for pilots at national carrier Caribbean Airlines. This is the position coming from them as they seek to get matters before the bargaining table addressed soon during negotiations. Industrial Relations Officer Timothy Bailey said the pilots will not do anything to affect CAL's operations, especially during this busy Christmas season. However, he is asking the board to return to positions on issues which he claimed they previously agreed upon. Bailey said all the proposals which were put forward by the pilots should be tackled and form part of the final document.
Know that this season is a season where we have a lot of traveling, our loved ones are coming into the country, etc. And we do not want to be an obstacle, but we have reached the point where enough is enough. And we are asking that good industrial relations, common sense, prevail, and the board revert to the initial position of the negotiation team, which was that they were in agreement with all the proposals that the association had put forward for the final settlement of these negotiations.
He was speaking during a news briefing held at the Queen's Park Savannah on Monday. It was revealed that there has been a shift in position from time to time during the deliberations.
The residual articles and the 4% agreement would bring about a full settlement of the negotiations. The negotiation team at the time was happy with that. It went to the board, who put it to the HRC committee, subcommittee. They looked at it before they sent it to the minister, and the minister did his job, approved the negotiations of 4%, and then a subsequent 4% for a different period. And they have now come and are attempting to hold the pilots hostage by hijacking the negotiations and moving the goalposts at the 11.5 hour.
Straight into weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad, partly cloudy at times with showers over a few areas. There's also a few a very low chance of the odd isolated thunderstorm near southwest Trinidad. Tobago generally fair despite the chance of the odd isolated shower. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 31 degrees Celsius, both at Piarco International Airport and Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 26 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 25 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, the House of Representatives passed one bill designed to give Tobago greater autonomy, but failed to pass a second bill. Government defends its handling of Tobago Autonomy Bill. Government to invite CARICOM delegation to observe the general elections next year. Parliament accepts without amendments the EBC's 2024 report on the boundaries under which the next general election would be held. And CAL pilots call for good industrial relations to be observed during negotiations. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon today and an update coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. Of course, you can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right. It is 11 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Let's take a look and see if we have any issues on the highways and on the byways that would slow up in the commute this morning. No issues. Just some volume leaving south, Chase Village, but you got traffic from Barrett-Tarrier into Port of Spain. Okay? Right. Let's see if we have any more votes in our morning poll. We do indeed. Via WhatsApp, Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona says no to the poll. I have got somebody else saying yes. Okay. I have DJ Ray saying yes. And that's it. Yep, that's all I got.
All right, so our poll this morning: should THA Chief Sec Farley Augustine apologize to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley for the house slave comment on Facebook? We had 53 people voting on the poll in the allotted time, and of the 53 people, 41 of you said yes, he should apologize, and 12 of you said no, he should not. So 41 of you said yes, he should apologize. 12 said he should not. So that's the result. The yeas have it, of course, by a huge majority this morning, saying yes, he should apologize. Of course, this poll continues throughout the day, through all programming, and you can continue to vote, and we'll give you the final result come tomorrow morning, which will be Wednesday and midweek.
Mm-hmm. Midweek already.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone made a comment on the chat, which I agree with. I'm sure the government needed opposition that indicated that they were not going to support that second bill. So is it to take it to the parliament as a show or some sort of position statement? Because even if you hope that the 5 so-called dissidents were going to vote against it, it was not going to take a number to 31, which was the required number to pass it. You understand?
Constitutional amendment.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess so they could say they bring it, kind of thing. We tried. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
You can't say we didn't bring it to the parliament. You didn't support it. I guess that's the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think going in there, they knew they weren't going to get the support. The first one was a simple majority, so it was a fait accompli, but the second one needed opposition support. So,
But what is the point of things going before a joint select committee, which is to, I assume, get some sort of consensus on those bills that require a certain majority, to make sure that you do get the majority, because there is consensus between the opposition and the governing party. So if it is
Well,
what's the point of joint select
not,
committees?
not every bill that goes before JSC gets consensus.
Fine. So then if it doesn't get consensus, then you don't bring it before the parliament because you
and
know.
that's the statement I made earlier, because there was in many cases, they can't reach consensus on everything, because people don't understand, a bill is comprised of so many different clauses and sections that you may agree with some sections and disagree with some sections. And sometimes people agree with most of it and submit what is called a minority report on the issues that they still have outstanding that have not, in their opinion, been resolved. You understand? The government of the day, whoever it is, will want consensus, because then they can take the bill to parliament, which has happened on many occasions already, and the bill has reached the kind of consensus that you want at that special select committee, joint select committee stage, where where the intention is to resolve the contentious issues. But in this case, there were still many outstanding issues. The opposition's perspective, and I'm paraphrasing and summarizing here, is that the bill didn't go far enough in giving Tobago the kind of autonomy Tobago wants. There is a lot of contention on how much autonomy is enough autonomy. As I said earlier on, it is still the unitary state of Trinidad and Tobago. So Tobago can't be passing laws that contrary to what Trinidad wants. The opposition's contention is that, well, it still gives the central government too much control over what happens in Tobago. Well, the other side of that is, who's funding it all? And what part of the pie does Tobago deserve? That's another point of contention in terms of the national budget and what Tobago has autonomy over, including lawmaking power. And at what level does that lawmaking power stop if the laws that are passed in Tobago are not in alignment with the laws that are passed by the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? So unless you want full secession, and you want to be a different country, you understand? You have to subsume at some level to the laws of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the overall government, whoever that is, of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Am I talking craziness here? And while you will have remit over some things, a lot of things, significant developmental and policy issues in Tobago, those laws can't be in contravention to the laws of Trinidad and Tobago as a unitary state. So, you know.
But it depends on what kind of system you want. Because if you want a federal system, akin to, like, for example, what the United States does, is that you can have state law, but then you have federal law that everybody has to obey regardless of the state that you're in. So you have state versus federal. And sometimes federal law trumps state law.
And Terence is asking, what's the purpose of joint select committee? It is because the bill that has been crafted by whoever the government is in power to deal with whatever issue in society is known as contentious. In most cases, those are 3/5 majority bills. You understand? In some cases, they are simple majority bills, but in most cases, they are 3/5 majority bills that need the support of the opposition. So the best thing to do is, as it's laid in Parliament, you send it straight to a JSC. And some of those JSC take years. I've been on two that took years. This one in particular, I wasn't on it, but it took a number of years. And then they got to whatever point they got to. I don't think they resolved all the issues to the satisfaction of both parties. And then they say, at some point, you have to stop. At some point, you have to say, okay, we're not going to get any consensus on these issues because we are philosophically and policy-wise opposed, have conflicts, you understand? So you put it at that stage, and whoever to support the minority supplies the minority report on the issues they have outstanding, and at that point, just send it to Parliament and hope they could resolve it on the committee stage on the floor and resolve. In this case, it didn't. I don't think it was. When I saw it, it was up for debate here, but this is not going to pass. You understand? And a lot of it also, quite frankly, is political posturing in some cases. So, I mean, I didn't think it was going to pass. You know, and in this case, it's not even the government and the opposition alone. It's the government, the opposition, and Tobago stakeholders, including Mr. Augustine, who now has control of the assembly through his massive majority in the assembly. You understand? So in his mind, because Tobago has given him that mandate, him and his party, he has a voice, and he thinks his voice should be considered, and it should at some level. But I mean, to me, to think that a WhatsApp is going to intervene into parliamentary proceeding, it's just really not going to happen. I don't know that's the mechanism for that. So I think we are at the stage we were, how much, hundreds of years ago, you know, and here we are. I didn't think the government think it was going to pass either, quite frankly. But I think, I guess they could say, well, we promised to bring it and we bring it. So on to the next. And I do think that's the last sitting of either of the two houses for the year, because they gave Christmas greetings yesterday in the House.
Okay.
But there's a JSC coming up on Tuesday, which should be a quite interesting one.
What's coming up on Tuesday, then?
7/21.
A JSC.
A JSC?
All right. We do have some calls coming in, so let's grab them quickly. Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, good morning to the Power family.
Morning.
Good morning to the morning crew. Could you guys interview Farley Augustine if you'll try to reach him on the phone?
I have tried.
He doesn't answer our calls anymore since he ascended to the chief secretary position.
One thing I want to bring to your attention, I like the move that the NYPD did to reach out to the gunman by putting out a false report indicating he fled the U.S. So it made him come out, and he was spotted.
Mm-hmm.
When he came out, he was spotted in the those are critical thinking.
And how did they get that information out, caller?
I'm sorry?
How did they get that information out?
They put it out to the public.
Really? How? How they put it out?
No, media. They put it out.
Oh, the media. They used the media. Okay. That's
they
novel.
used the media to say
Very
that
innovative.
he fled the United States. And the individual, look where he was caught, in McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
For real?
But
Anyway,
you remember, as I said last week, remember with the Washington sniper, they send everybody east when they're really focusing in the west. So yeah, same thing. Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
Steve, good morning.
Morning. What happened there?
That was so innovative.
Good morning.
NYPD used the media. Wasn't that innovative?
Smart.
The thing that was innovative, they went to the media.
Mm-hmm.
That was so
Did they
innovative.
say he left the United States, or did they just say he left New York City?
Good morning, gentlemen.
They said he left New York City. I don't know if they said he left
Gentlemen, I vote no. I didn't call in, but no to that. The apology, the apology should be yes. How could you want to badmouth someone that you need the help? He's coming just like you. Go, it's Trinidad and Tobago. Leave it as it is. Things going fine. Just make sure you get money to run the country, because anyhow you take it, they're still going to have to come here for stuff. They still have to cross the border for stuff. They didn't have everything on the island. What's wrong with him? He want to own the country or something? He need to step down and let somebody else. His foot is getting too big for his shoes, Mr. Farley. It's not the first time he disrespect somebody higher than him. He just need to check himself.
All right. Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, morning again.
Yeah, Mr. Patrick.
Mr. Ragoobarsingh.
Yes.
You were saying something this morning, and I 100%. Some people that resort to trying to attack people and bring them down and slander them, because we having a debate. A debate supposed to be something civil, right? If you're passionate about certain things, And it has some people say, and listen, these actions some people just take. It does not mean families, it does not mean jobs, does mash up relationships. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we haven't had discussion, and all you want to do is just attack me and don't attack the issue. Words that affect people. I know friendship mash up because of them things. I know husband and wife mash up because of them things. So it has some fellas right in the parliament. Like they can't talk civil about people. They like to slander and bring down and cuss out and everything. Something wrong with that kind of behavior. And we're not supposed to be dealing with people. So if we have to continue relating to them afterwards. Because if you're talking to me, so afterwards, me dealing with you, Mr. Ragoobarsingh, you're right. You can't be doing that. No, Tobago issue remind me of Brexit. Am I right? The same kind of people want to go on their own. Nice? But in the end of the day, some of them people went on their own and some of them regret it. So I wonder if Tobago really want to have their own powers, want to have their own money, want to have their own everything. If they could sustain that.
Well, Brexit is not the perfect analogy. I suppose the better analogy may be like Scotland and the vote in Scotland when Scotland was voting for independence, stuff like that. Remember, Brexit is more of a regional grouping, so that'll be akin to Trinidad and Tobago wanting to leave CARICOM. The Brexit example will be more.
Want to leave Trinidad.
Yeah, but it'll be more of a the better analogy would be the vote that Scotland would have had at a time, which actually prompted the then Prime Minister. Eventually, it was part of the domino effect in a kind of way that led to the whole it led to Brexit in a kind of way, because out of that whole Scottish referendum, it eventually, that was when he eventually had the unnecessary vote about whether the UK needed to stay in Brexit, stay in the EU or not. Absolutely unnecessary. And
at the end of the day, Tobago have about how much? 80,000 people, right?
But 50,000, I think, is the census, or a little less. It may be a little less, because so many Tobagonians live in Trinidad. So many live in Trinidad. A lot live here.
Right.
So because one country, it's like you saying, how many people from West living in Arima? Who cares? It's one country.
It's one country.
All right.
But all right.
All right. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
Before I make my contribution, mi amor, I want to tell you, you see, when you're talking about rum, don't associate my name, please. There's one main name beginning with K. You could call that. Don't call Zena, please. And see morning at that time. When you're talking nice conversation, call my name. You hear me? Although I like rum, I'm associating myself to say, well, when you remember, I say, when you call me rum, sweet rum, when you call me about to come, that is in that context to make my contribution. But you see that? Don't make them bad jokes here. Right. Anyhow, I was calling other yes to that thing, that vote there for me. I will annul it, just put it down beforehand. Anyhow, Farley Augustine, Mr. Farley Augustine, he is, according to one of our analysts, he said it very early, that the hubris syndrome set in from day one, and he's getting too big for his shoes. But with the hubris syndrome, he must know that he has to have something called respect, and respect for your elders, and for the Prime Minister of this country. He is rude. That behavior and what he said after that debate, it was very, very rude and out of place. And he has to know where to draw the line. Yes, you want certain things for the country, but that kind of bullying attitude wouldn't help the situation. So he needs to take a chill pill. That is what I have to say about that. Cool down his rudeness. I'm obstinate. Thank you.
Zeno.
So 222 talk 222-8255 North Americans 866-525-1099. Of course, we're taking your calls at this point, and of course we were taking your calls, but Steve has now moved, so we can't take your calls.
Right? And he gives you no indication, eh? Not I'll be back. I'm coming back. Give me a second. Nothing.
No, you just go.
Mm-hmm. But at that age, incontinence is a difficult thing to deal with sometimes. So I understand. He may have an emergency.
Let me see if any of the comments. I wasn't really following the comments.
As I said before, the government must have known going into that parliament yesterday they were not going to get the support of the opposition unless they were hoping against all odds. But there was some change of heart given the utterances of the opposition. And then Camille Robinson Regis, leader of the business in the House, kept asking if Saddam Hussein had any amendments to propose. And he didn't seem to have any amendments to propose. So it seems that based on the construct of the bill, the opposition were just opposed to a lot of the main tenets, and they didn't think the bill went far enough. But I'm trying to figure out in our construct, what does far enough mean? You understand? At what point is this far enough taken beyond the realm of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? And is it that there is a view that Tobago wants its own lawmaking powers that may run contrary to the laws that are made in the Parliament in Port of Spain?
But you know what is that whole consensus thing that you're talking about, that we spoke about generally leading up to this conversation, like the Joint Select Committee stage, etc., etc. Is it that depending on who sits in the chair of Chief Secretary, that the wants of Tobago on this bill change? Because that can't be tenable. It can't be that you have Chief Secretary A that says, okay, this bill not going far enough, and we need X, Y, Z, A, B, D, C, D, F, whatever it is that you require. Then Chief Secretary changes because that position changes. It's a democratic position. You're not in it for life. And another Chief Secretary comes in and says, okay, no, I'm fine with the bill. The bill can go through as is. Then you may have another Chief Secretary that sits and says, I have no interest in any autonomy at all in Tobago. So how is that tenable if we're having a serious discussion about the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago? It has to be that there has to be some blueprint that everybody agrees on, and that the people of Tobago have had some consultation and consensus on. The majority agreed this is the blueprint that we would agree to, and present that to Parliament, and Parliament says, well, okay, the majority of Tobagonians, this is what they want, rather than an elite few. So has all of that happened? I don't know. I'm asking.
Morning, caller.
Morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Captain Ron, morning.
Hey, guys. It's a shame that this guy in Tobago is behaving like that. He's showing his true colors. As you said, they should have a referendum. But as for now, where I'm seeing it, he's the one who wants to secede from Trinidad and Tobago, from Trinidad. He's the one who's seeking power. He wants to be himself. And he's just envious of Prime Minister Rowley. So now this is the resort, the level he has resorted to, by calling him these kind of names. And he needs to apologize. He needs to apologize. And the poll you took yesterday, which I don't understand why people are saying, oh, yes, he should resign. Man, when you're building anything on this earth,
So many times things are overrun. Simple as that. And like the guest you had on yesterday, he said it correctly. Things do overrun. And just the fact that he came out and catch himself and he explained it, it's no problem. It's just the opposition tends to make a big deal of everything. So I don't understand why people want somebody to resign for something like that. Look, Kennedy Airport, LaGuardia Airport in New York, they had forecast for something as a building or something. The thing is over $2 billion. Nobody resigned for that. This is life. That's what things happen. Price changes every day. Anyway, guys, y'all have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Captain Ron.
You know what's interesting, Richard, is that this Tobago autonomy conversation has been in the national domain for decades. And there were times when the PNM had both control of the parliament and the Tobago House of Assembly. Am I wrong?
No.
Why weren't moves made then to move it forward?
I can answer that. Yeah, I
Let's
got
have this call here. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. I listened to the caller just now. I think the issue with the call for the resignation wasn't because of the cost overrun, but it was because of deliberately. Well, to me, knowing there was a cost overrun and coming to say there wasn't a cost overrun and having to come the next day to correct it.
Well, he did not say there was no cost overrun. He underestimated or understated the level of the cost overrun.
Right. Understated it. Well, right. He understated it. And I think that is what the call is about. It seems as though it appears to me it was deliberate to mislead us. That is my view. I believe so. I don't know if that is the fact that he deliberately, underestimated or what I just said just now, but that is the call for the resolution, not for the court. Every project, even I building a little shed in the back by me, and we estimated for a certain amount and it's gone up to about 50%. You understand? So there is, well, if I telling my wife that it didn't have no cost overrun and it was only $200, knowing that it was overrun by $5,000, that is being misleading, and that is the trust issue there. Because I believe I listened to both press conference, and I believe that he knew it was by that, not knowing that the opposition had a copy of the cabinet note. Now, if the cabinet note wasn't leaked, then it would have remained as that, and that was the issue. That was the issue for me. I don't know for Captain Ron why he's saying that he shouldn't resign or the call for resignation. It is not about the cost overrun. Every single project has a cost overrun. Is to me the misleading the public. That is my view.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Hi, morning. Go ahead.
I thought I said morning to you just now, when next I didn't hear anything else. Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Morning.
And good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
Wherever you are. First of all, Steve, that background it has no life. There's no life in that background. That nice, supposed to be a nice red and green thing, right? It has no life in it. Fix it now, Steve. We start sometime before Christmas.
I like it. It's simple.
Simple. It's simple.
All right. Go ahead, because we have lots of calls.
Anyway. Yes, anyway. So I was kind of disappointed that bill wasn't passed yesterday. I am shocked because I thought, well, at least the opposition leader will say, well, we're supporting something for Tobago, knowing that we don't have no talk, we don't have nothing in Tobago. We are no foot in Tobago. So let's support the bill. And it will stay, at least it will start somewhere. At least they say, well, look, we could do a few things for ourselves for the time being until further could be done. So when I heard that was not happening, I said, well, what is going to go on? And then for the Augusta to come and blame the government for letting the bill collapse. I don't understand why, Paul. You'll have to explain that to me. And Paul, will the bill be able to come back? Because if you said just now that they didn't have any new amendments to put it, then there's nothing else to be added. So what will happen to the bill for the future? Have a wonderful day, people.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day yourself. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Apparently, step down, resign, and go home is only for the PNM. The other side, everybody, 99% of the people on the next side have something hanging over their head and they're still in parliament and they're still practicing in office. Concerning the vote,
99% of the people
the
on the other
result of
side.
the vote, the result of the vote
99%
amazes
of
me.
them.
Think how people just think in Trinidad. The man was disrespectful to the PNM, and you get more no's than yes. That is ridiculous. There's a lot of haters around us here.
You want a blow to vote?
The no's had it or the yeah had it in the vote this morning.
The years have it. And 99% of the people in the opposition do not have
I don't know where that statement come from.
Okay, not 90. A lot of people on the other side have things overhanging their head. Who in court, who not in court, who shouldn't be practicing, and who shouldn't be in parliament. So instead of people talking about who have to step down and who have to go home, that is only on the PNM side it is here. Who have to go home, who have to step down. A lie?
Of course, you're lying.
Right, well, focus on that aspect.
The
Don't
media
focus
calls
on the
for
99.
when the opposition was in power, the media called many times for different people to step down because of whatever issues were happening.
So you good, yes?
Those calls happened.
All right. Thanks, Miss San Fernando.
Every Monday morning is Stuart should go. Hines should go. This one should go. You doesn't hear that on the other side, and the other side tainted very badly. That is what I'm trying to explain, Richard.
Good morning.
Let me drink my water.
Yes. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
That thing with the cost overrun. That I think people making a big hullabaloo over nothing. Not that they shouldn't know if there's a cost overrun, but if you use reasoning right now in this election season, something like that is under big scrutiny. The government, the firm going to try something like that to mislead people. That doesn't make much sense because the kind of scrutiny that is under with the opposition and that you can't pass to that. And he's a man into construction. He's a construction engineer. I mean that I think that it was a genuine underestimation in the in what he did, because things do have overruns. And the next issue is Mr. Farley. I think I've been listening to Mr. Farley for the longest while. Mr. Farley don't seem to apply no finesse for the position Mr. Farley holds. He always seems to be warring. He's very disrespectful. I mean, if you don't respect Dr. Rowley, respect the office and respect a senior person. He always on. I don't know. Like everything he tried to do, is very confrontational and very. I don't understand. And sending a WhatsApp message or why in the proceedings of something like that. I mean, Farley out of he getting out of the thing now, you know. I mean, I listened to him for the longest while. I never really say anything. The position he hold. I mean, I can't really express what I want to say with that, but I don't think he's the right fit for that position. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. Oops. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hi.
Morning.
What about the case in Manila yesterday? What? I'm not hearing anything about it. Papers, I don't know if you're telling papers or I like to know about it, please.
I didn't see anything in the papers this morning.
Right. Like, you know, but they're not hearing anything about it. Okay? You all have a blessed day.
All right, thank you.
I didn't see anything in the papers about it. I missed it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so 222-8255, toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099. All right? That's our numbers directly into our studio.
Richard, what do you think about the name changes?
Name changes? I mean,
the name changes to the constituencies.
You know, you don't. I mean, name changes don't necessarily bother me. I suppose people in those respective areas could kick up a fuss if they have an issue. But what is not clear to me is what the boundary changes. Media is talking about it, but they're not actually saying, well, the boundary has changed in this way. They're just saying that there were boundary changes in these constituencies, and they just list them all, and there were name changes for these, and they list them all, and that's it. And because I saw Rima was one that there was a boundary change, and I was like, well, what is the boundary change in Rima? I'm not sure. Now, personally, in my opinion, Santa Rosa needs to come under Rima because people in Santa Rosa think they're part of Arima when they're not. They're part of the Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation. But for intended purposes, people think they're part of the borough of Arima, but they're not. You also, and maybe Arima needs to extend southward. I don't know if it needs to include some of those settlements south of the highway, like Lauketa, because people in Lauketa also think they're part of Arima, but some of them put their address as Lauketa Arima.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
most people think Lauketa and Arima.
Yeah, so the practicality of the boundaries isn't quite. I know they go on a numerical basis, saying, well, X, Y, Z, this is the how many people in this constituency, and you're kind of balancing it off. But the boundaries of the borough of Arima need to be something that's studied, and maybe the Arima Borough Council is studying it. I have no clue.
It's like when the Point of Pears now, it's not Claxton Bay, Point of Pear, no Point of Pear, just change to Claxton Bay.
Yeah, but I found a little straight. I was like, wait.
You know, and then Aranguez, St. Joseph is now Aranguez St. Joseph. So one would imagine, okay, and I understand the rationale because they said that 21% of the voter, 20% of the voters in St. Joseph are from Aranguez. So you want to give Aranguez some prominence in the name because of that significant number of voters. You understand? But why not St. Joseph Aranguez? You understand? Little things like that without explanation, people like, you know? And then W. Mero to Malaba Mausica. So what in Dabadi who will vote? You understand?
Yeah.
Just, and there's no explanation for it.
Yeah.
It's just very, very, and I'm not saying that the name changes aren't warranted, you know, but again, as we've been discussing,
provide some context.
Entities don't feel the people of Trinidad and Tobago deserve an explanation.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we have a call here. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks for holding. Go ahead.
No problem. Richard, you're absolutely right. I was going to call to mention that I was shocked. I have a house in La Hogata, and I needed some shrub and rubble pick up and whatnot. And when I was shocked when I was guided to the Puna Corporation to come and pick up the stuff. I'm like, but look how far here is from Tunapuna. How here on that Tunapuna? I didn't understand it. I don't understand. I still don't understand it. But hey, it is what it is. But I was watching some things on social media over the last couple of days, and I seen a pattern forming. I follow a lot of people who used to, I have to use the word used to, support the PNM party unquestionably. And I'm seeing a lot of videos coming from these people totally disgusted with the PNM. And if that is a reflection of what the major society feels, I don't think it's looking good for the PNM for the next general election. You understand? There's a fella from Point Fortin who used to worship the ground that the PNM walk on. So he made a video yesterday. I was like, hey, they're the same dude? You understand? So a word to the wise is sufficient, and I suspect the switch that we saw in the U.S. elections, we might be very well getting that in Trinidad and Tobago.
So when I
may
said
not be
last
the
week,
best.
sir,
Go
that
ahead.
I think they're underestimating the level of disaffection. You're echoing similar sentiments.
They're underestimating the level of what? I didn't hear the word.
Disaffection.
Right. You mean the PNM is underestimating the level
Yes.
of disaffection?
Yep.
Definitely. And I am getting the feeling of another 33-3. You understand? I don't know why I'm getting that feeling.
I didn't think it'll go that far. I don't think that's the environment.
But I'm getting the feeling of a strong wake up.
You make my eyes open.
I saw a woman make a video saying that something about Miss Cox. You understand? They didn't want she at all. They didn't want Fitzgerald Hines at all. And certain men think they want the guy in Labrie. And I don't know if they're not the PNM not listening or just don't care. But the people are making certain statements of what they don't want. And I hope it's not too late for them to.
And you see, you have to remember, the longer an administration in this kind of society stays in power, the more difficult it is to remain in power, because you people are, particularly after COVID, I don't think a lot of people recover from that COVID hit, you know.
No.
Underestimation of how much
people are serious financial issues from that.
People are feeling disaffected or marginalized in a lot of ways.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Thank you, caller.
Look this next one. Ash Nemesis Paul exposed. Because you give a view, you're exposed.
Yeah. There's a new law in St. Vincent. Now, I don't know if such a law exists in Trinidad. I can't remember seeing it or coming across it, unless it's very ancient. But in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Parliament has approved legislation targeting dog owners who are not honoring their duties and responsibilities. The Dog Bill 2024 provides penalties for a range of offenses, including taking dogs to certain beaches, causing the animal to escape from one's property, and not cleaning up after the pet when it defecates in a public place. If you wish to be a dog owner, there are responsibilities, and buying the dog or accepting a dog as a gift is just a start. After that, it is your dog, and you have to be responsible, so says Agriculture Minister Sabato Caesar. And when he presented the bill, which was passed without debate or opposition, he said that one of the main objectives of the law is to deal with dogs on beaches. There are some persons who own dogs, and when they go to the beach, they will take the dog to the beach, and it is a nuisance. We have all been to the beach before, seen someone walking towards you, your family with a dog, and persons have to either run in the water, persons have to remove themselves from the beach. We must bring a stop to this, Caesar said. Under the new law by an order published in the Gazette, government will list some beaches where people cannot take dogs. I don't know if we have a law like that, but we certainly need it in terms of people cleaning up after their dogs. I think there are a lot of responsible dog owners that will walk with their bags,
the muzzles and the leash.
Yeah, not only that, but they walk with bags to clean up after the dogs if the dogs defecate and stuff in public spaces. But certainly at some of our beaches, well, not only dogs, you have some stray dogs. Maracas Beach, yes, I'm looking at you. You have stray dogs on the beach, and I'm like, how is this acceptable as your number one tourist beach in Trinidad and Tobago that you have so many stray dogs walking around casually? It's like, what? You know, what? And because they come by you sometimes by the booth where you're buying bacon, shark, and stuff like that. And I mean, I love dogs, but you also need to control where dogs have access to.
Well, you need to be responsible. All right.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if local government bodies have given up on stray dogs. But sometimes they move around. They are like third and fourth and fifth gangs in some communities, you know. And sometimes when you're walking in some areas, you'll be kind of nervous because they're coming down the road and you're like, boy, I wonder if they're in a good mood today.
Yeah. All right, we have a call here, Rich. Good morning. Go ahead. Thanks for holding.
Again, Richard, I agree with you on everything on that point. As a matter of fact, you have to be very careful, especially when the females are in heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have to walk far. Anyhow, I just want to talk about that name change for the places. What is important to us too, as Paul said, is that people must know um, where these changes are. If there's just a name change and not boundaries, it's all right. But if you have any change in boundaries, this is a time where people will get very confused. When it's normal, when they have names normally in the election, people get accustomed to where they have to go and vote. Will that affect the areas where people have to go and vote? This is a whole educational exercise, for the public. So I hope the EBC know what they're doing, because to me, an election is around the corner, and I find this is not the time for no tomfoolery. They need to explain properly why their name changes, and let us know if the boundaries change. That would affect it. People normally get confused. Some people running from station to station, don't know where to vote. This is not the time for that. They kind of moving left eye fine. So that has to be really taken into consideration, and educate the public properly. Just let me say one more thing. Farley's behavior stems from something he always keeps saying, and I listen to him carefully. I don't think Tobago has a government. You have a House of Assembly, but when he talks about the government here and his government, and that adds to the hubris syndrome. He thinks he is in charge of the entire our entire Trinidad and Tobago. You understand? This is a Twin Island state. So to come to talk about my government and my government, he's totally out of sync with his position. So I tell he better take a chill pill. Thank you.
Well, why? You know that Zena.
Oh, she's gone.
That the House of Assembly arrangement is very often compared to local government. Not so, Richard?
Yeah.
So if we have local government officials, why you can't call yourself a government of sorts? You understand? Of course, it's not a national government. I'm sure he more than anybody else knows that.
I mean, the teacher would have much more powers than the usual local government assemblies, because they have laws that governs that relationship. So it's more powerful.
Yeah, he has a lot more authority.
Yeah, they have a lot more authority and a lot more control over a larger amount of money than just than local government bodies. Well, I'm still waiting to see. I don't know if the Woodford Square has been decorated for Christmas, but Arima is a no-go. I don't know who's the new police.
Port of Spain is a no-go apart from Central Bank.
I had a video of Central Bank Christmas decorate, which is so beautiful. Christmas decorate.
It is. It's quite. I told you it's lovely.
I'll play it tomorrow. I downloaded it last night to play it, and I forgot. I apologize. I'll play it tomorrow.
And I think
every year we say the same thing.
I heard the Diego Martin tree is really well decorated this year. So that main tree to enter Diego Martin, in Diego Martin, that people will know from that area will know what I'm talking about. And and I know in St. Joseph, I saw Minister Dialsingh having some ceremony with lighting up and stuff like that. Arima is like, I don't know, the Arima Borough Council is dead. I don't know if they sleep, they're in hibernation. I don't know what is going on, but there is nothing taking place except for the star on the hill. Thank God for the star on the hill. And remember last year I bad talked that star because half of it wasn't lit. Well, apparently they fixed it. They cut some tree branches that were blocking it. So thank you for the star on the hill at least being visible and being much better coordinated this year. But that's it. There are no other decorations in downtown Arima, which has been so beautifully done some years past. It's annoying annoying.
All right, gentlemen, we got to wrap it up. It's just after 8 o'clock.
What do you expect? Have a good day. Be safe.
And the park opposite the Santa Rosa RC Church was so well done some years, but that happens depending on who the priest is. So the priest who was just there, that apparently everybody loved, just left. So I don't know who the new priest is, and if the new priest is a Grinch or not, because we have had some Grinch priests before where they were like, oh no, they want no lights. Watch it. All right. Anyway, have a fantastic day, whatever you do, and remember to smile and laugh. It is great for your health.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Time for your 8 o'clock update. I'm Avril Sintel Bob. Good morning. There will be no self-government for Tobago or the title of Premier for Tobago's Chief Secretary. Lack of opposition support yesterday defeated government's proposed self-government package for Tobago, which had included Tobagonians' recommendations to change the title of Tobago's Chief Secretary to Premier and to increase Tobago's territorial waters to 11 miles. The Tobago Island Government Bill 2021 was passed by a vote of 20-10. However, the constitutional amendment Tobago Self-Government Bill failed to pass after it was rejected by opposition members in Parliament. Angry over the failed outcome of the Tobago Autonomy Bill, Chief Secretary Foley Augustine yesterday described Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley as a house slave as he accused him of ignoring the needs of Tobago's people. Earlier in the day, Augustine had called for more consultation, stating that the bills do not meet the needs of Tobago and its people. In response to Augustine's WhatsApp request just minutes before the sitting to proposed amendments, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley told the House that Augustine's attempt to stall the process was preposterous. The Ministry of Health is closely monitoring the emergence of the Mayaro and Oropouche viruses, two tropical diseases that pose potential health risks to the population of Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. These arboviral diseases are spread primarily by the Aedes aegypti, Culex mosquitoes, and midge insect flies. The Pan American Health Organization has reported 10,275 confirmed cases of the Oropouche virus, including 2 deaths across 9 countries in the Americas from January 1st to October 5th, 2024. And President-elect Donald Trump says he will look at pardons for those involved in the 2021 U.S. Capitol riot on his first day back in office next month. The Republican also vowed to end automatic citizenship for anyone born in the country, but offered to work with Democrats to help some undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children. Well, that was your update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon. I'm Avril Sintel Bob. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.